It is Monday, and it is Eagles game day. I don't think we've ever had these two things fall on the same day. Yes, I know Mondays happen every Monday. Don't need to try to hit me with that joke. I'm talking about 609 and freaking Eagles games day, so don't try to hit me with that. We got some stuff to talk about. NFL trade deadline was last week. The Giants are looking for a coach. We got the first college football bracket out last week, and I think it's a joke. So do us a favor. Kick back, relax before Monday Night Football, and relax because episode number 71 of 609 Sports Talk starts right now. Once again, welcome in everybody back to 609 Sports Talk live here on Facebook, live over on YouTube, and of course, every Tuesday morning, these episodes drop on Spotify. So if you are not able to catch us live, go over to Spotify and give us a listen every Tuesday. As always, this is the show that unites fans and ignites debate. And tonight prepares for Monday Night Football, Eagles, Packers in the frozen tundra known as Lambeau. Why is it every time as soon as we get to go to Lambeau, that's when the seasons change?
Because that's when Saquon does his best running.
I had a cheese joke, but then I realized we make it canceled if I make it. But anyway.
No, you can make it. You will get canceled.
No, we will get it. I'm not doing it. But anyway, we are your hosts, Sam Nelson, Tyler Adams, joined by our friend once again, Dustin Reese. Gentlemen, how are we on this? Well, at least for us, a damp, rainy Monday.
Yeah, definitely a little chilly.
I don't want to hear about chilly. Go to Lambeau today if you want to.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're definitely not in Lambeau. Definitely not. So at least we got that going for us.
I mean, it's kind of funny, though, because this weekend, if the game would have been played on Sunday, it's supposed to be 63 degrees in Lambeau on Sunday. So figure that one out.
Meanwhile, I think that's Jalen Phillips. I'm watching Eagles pregame. Jalen Phillips is warming up with a freaking sleeveless muscle shirt. These dudes are psychopaths. These guys are actually psychopaths.
Yeah, they took the smelling salt with Scattaboo.
Oh, God. But look, so of course, Eagles-Packers Monday Night Live reactions for the time will be on. We probably will try to get out of here at a decent time. Monday Night Football. No, all of our Eagle fans will be tuning into the game. We'll give our live reactions to whatever portion of the game that we're on. We'll talk some college football, first playoff bracket that came out last Tuesday. Thank you, CFB, for screwing that up. Now I got to wait a whole 6 days to talk about it. But we'll get into that later in the show. Of course, the new one comes out tomorrow. New AP Top 25 is out. We'll talk about that as well. We're going to go through some of the big trades that went down last Tuesday at the NFL trade deadline. But to start tonight off, also, there is an also to this. If you are watching tonight's show, major announcement coming at the end of the show. Not now, not in the middle. Major announcement at the end of the show. So please stick around till the end and look out for that. But, gentlemen, to start the show, big drama today in New York. There's drama all over the two New York teams. First off, the Giants have officially fired head coach Brian Daboll after, I believe it was 4 seasons. 3 consecutive years now since making the playoffs in 2022. The Giants over the past 3 years have started 2-8 in their first 10 games. Daboll leaves New York with a record of 20, 40, and 1. Gentlemen, what are our initial thoughts on the firing of Brian Daboll? Floor is all yours.
I mean, it's been a long time coming. I mean, they gave him a lot of chances. Granted, I don't always agree with, the front office help from the GM. I don't feel like they've always put Dable in the best situation.
Yeah.
And granted, a lot of bad circumstances this year, which held back a young, promising-looking team. But I personally feel like they should have gave him till the end of the year. I mean, they're not playing for anything the rest of the season. Just see what can happen with what you got left. I mean, you're already down your star wide receiver, Malik Neighbors. Your standout rookie running back, Cam Scadaboo, out for the year. But there was no reason to fire him midway through the season. You already put up with the losing seasons for how many years in a row now?
Mm-hmm.
What's one more? Let him finish it out, reassess at the end of the season, and move on from there.
I kind of agree. I mean, especially with this season when you don't have Malik Neighbors, your number one target. You don't have Cam Scadabo, who is turning in to be a legitimate running back in this league. So you're down arguably your two best offensive weapons. Jackson Dart's already showing that he can play football and that he's probably going to be your franchise quarterback going forward. You've already kind of seen what Jackson Dart and Scadabo can do together, but you really haven't seen what Dart can do with Neighbors and so all the pieces together at the same time. And the getting rid of Saquon Barkley was ultimately the beginning of the end for Brian Daboll, and that was not his fault.
Yeah.
You have not done anything to replace Saquon Barkley since you traded him away. So what is Brian Daboll supposed to do when a big reason for his success came from Barkley?
It did. I always say Saquon Barkley got Daniel Jones paid.
He did.
The strong run game from the Giants, I mean, it was the perfect scenario for Daniel Jones, and we're seeing it again in Indianapolis.
Yep.
Granted, I think a little bit better coaching as well, but a strong run game makes it so much easier on any quarterback.
Well, in all honesty, let's look at something. I understand that you cannot blame those two situations completely on Brian Daboll. It doesn't look good when you're supposed to be an offensive-minded head coach, and these two guys leave and have far more better success away from you. I'm not blaming Brian Daboll for this. First of all, how did this news come out and I did not immediately see Joe Shane's name right after his? How does Joe Shane still have a job?
They seem like a package deal, honestly. I thought once one went, the other was going too.
Because, I'm sorry, do we not remember the draft? Only one guy in that room was fully sold on Jackson Dart.
Yeah.
And they just fired him.
Yep.
Joe Shane wasn't fully sold on him. John Mara wasn't fully sold on him. And the one guy that was sold on him, they fired.
Yep.
Yeah.
Joe Shane should have been fired as soon as, look, if I was John Mara and I saw the second Saquon Barkley's fingertips touch that Lombardi trophy, I would have called him up and said, don't you come to work tomorrow. I'm changing the locks. He should have been fired right then. I'm not mad that Daboll got fired. Look, you can't start 2-8 in 10 games 3 straight years and expect to keep your job. Unfortunately, with the way the NFL is, winning is everything.
Yeah.
Regardless of your roster construction or whatever you want to call it. You can't take Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley and get into the playoffs. And I believe they won a playoff game that year.
They did.
Didn't they beat Minnesota?
Yep. They did beat Minnesota, yep.
And then go backwards to where you are literally picking in the top 5 almost every year after. You can't go in that trajectory. That's how you get fired. I mean, look at Chip Kelly. Chip Kelly won the NFC East his first year. He won 10 games the next year. And then after one season to go 7-9, he was fired. Now, there was a lot of other things that went into that situation, but you get my point. Winning is everything. And if you're not winning at the highest level, you're going to get canned. Mm-hmm. However, I think the only thing that I can put on Daboll right now, and I understand Malik Neighbors is out. I understand Cam Scadaboo is out. I completely get that. The fact that Jackson Dart has been evaluated for a concussion almost every freaking week that he has been a starter because you continue to let him run medicine ball plays and have him. I mean, don't get me wrong. The best athlete on the football field is Jackson Dart. The Giants have no other. The second most competent offensive player that's not Andrew Thomas when he's healthy has been Theo Johnson, their tight end.
Yeah.
But I'm not blaming everything on Dable, but the fact that Jackson Dart has been evaluated for concussions almost every week because they continue to just run him play after play after play, putting him in danger of getting hit. That's your future right there. That guy is the future of that franchise. I still think he's a gamer. I love the way he plays. I think he's going to be a great quarterback. And if he turns out to the quarterback I think he's going to turn into, as a Philadelphia Eagles fan, I'm going to be pissed because I'm going to have to deal with him for the next 10 plus years unless the Giants let him go to another team, which is always likely. Yeah. But
if you keep the fact that around, yeah, that's likely.
I mean, I think he's going to be very similar to a Josh Allen, which is why I think Dable wanted him in the first place. But at some point, you're going to have to tell Jackson Dart, like, look, running the football is a big part of your game, and I don't want you to stop running the football. But instead of going for the 10, 11-yard gains, just slide. Take the 7.
Yeah. Every little chunk play counts. You know, you don't got to hit the home run every time. You don't need the first down right away.
Yeah.
Set yourself up to third and short and manageable. Go from there. As long as you're not taking a negative play, it's in the right direction. But you can't risk taking yourself out of a game like that.
Yeah.
I agree. I 100% agree. He is just, it's been a hectic year, like we said, for the Giants. It's been absolutely hectic, and this is just the icing on top of the cake. Now, Mike Kafka is going to be the interim head coach, and if we remember, he's taken his fair share of some interviews, so I don't know if that is a long-term option.
He won't be.
I mean, he's had high praise in the past before, so
he'll get a job, but it will not be with the Giants just because if Jay Shane is gone at the end of the year, which he should be, they will have a new head coach coming in. They're not going to stick with Kafka if they bring in a new GM.
True. Real quick, what's up, Orlando? And hello, Carol.
What's up, Carol? Carol, I'm looking at all on my phone. I am not seeing any freezing issues. You guys haven't seen any issues, have you?
No.
Okay. So yeah, no freezing issues on our end. Okay. But Carol also says she can't stay, but she wants to say go Birds. Orlando also said go Birds. Always, guys, go Birds. Screw the Packers.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, I'm not mad that Dable got fired. But I cannot believe that Joe Shane is getting a chance to manage the rest of this season, be the GM for the rest of the year after what's happened. Because guess what?
Why would you fire him? No, I guess that's my question. Like, firing Shane at this point is going to do what? You're past the trade deadline. You can't make any deals. Like, right now, it's basically like you fired Shane. You're firing from nothing because the new GM you're going to appoint for the interim GM can't make any moves. The deadline's gone. You really can't do anything unless you're adding to the practice squad. So what would be the point of bringing in a new GM knowing that they really can't do much until the offseason anyways? I think that's why Shane's still here. It's basically like you can't do anything anyways. You can't screw the team up any more than you already have.
You can make the same case for Brian Dable. What can he do for the rest of the season that's going to make it worse? All right, 2-8.
The thing with firing coaches, though, is like sometimes you bring in a new head coach. And for whatever reason, the team has a bolt of energy. And they start playing better for that new head coach because it's like, well, this head coach is technically interviewing for a job beyond this year. So you want to do what you can as a player to help that guy get a job.
I do understand that factor, but why wait this long?
I think it was more so because of who he chose to bring in yesterday. If he brings in Jameis Winston and they lose that game, it's a little bit different than bringing in Russell Wilson, who looked like shit when you started him at the beginning of the year besides the game against Dallas. And you had a 10-point lead with 5 minutes and 40 seconds left in the game yesterday. Russell Wilson gets you negative 7 yards of offense in 3 possessions when all he needed to do was get you 2 first downs and that game was over.
Oh, we saw the Russell Wilson effect when we were at that Thursday night football game against the Giants. He comes in after Dart goes to the medical tent. Wilson on third down just throws a ball into the dirt, and Dable went over to the tent a minute later to check on him.
Like,
I got in trouble for it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand. Like, you have Jameis Winston on your roster. Like, I don't understand at this point how he is not ahead of Russell Wilson on the depth chart.
He won games in Cleveland, some games against teams that they shouldn't have beat last year.
I know. I just don't understand how he's not ahead of Wilson on the depth chart at this point.
I don't know. It's at this point, it's just the name. Russell Wilson's won a Super Bowl. He's been a starter for more years in the league. But where has that gotten him at this point? He's not that player anymore.
You know, and Winston's making more money than Wilson anyways. So why wouldn't you want Winston ahead of Russell Wilson on the depth chart?
Wow.
Winston's getting paid $9 million right now. Wilson's getting paid $6 million.
Jeez.
Why would you not want Winston ahead of Wilson on the depth chart?
And honestly, look, okay, if you want to make the case that Joe Schoen will have his job for the rest of the year, fine. We are aware. Now, look, I understand that Russell Wilson came in with a 10-point lead yesterday. They lost the game. Say that sentence again. He came in with a 10-point lead. They have blown 4 games on the road this year. Of 3 of them were double-digit leads on the road, and the other one was a game against Dallas, which how does Shane Bowen still have his job?
I don't know. I thought he was another one that should have got fired, too.
I would have fired him after the Denver game. They are 4 blown leads. If you take all those games into effect, they're 6-4. And we maybe talk, they're in the hunt.
I think that's why.
There are two NFC teams on that graphic now when it says in the hunt. The 4-5 Vikings, sorry, Dustin, and the 3-5-1 Cowboys. The Giants would be in the hunt for a playoff spot right now with all the crap that's gone wrong with them if Shane Bowen knew how to protect a double-digit lead. They had a 14-3 lead in the second quarter to New Orleans. They didn't now granted, in that game, they didn't score another point after they got 14. That's a little bit on Dable. You can't. The Saints were the worst team in the NFL. You got to score points against them. You have the Cowboys game, which Russell Wilson turned back the clock to 2015 and threw for like 470 yards. The Cowboys have the worst defense in football. You couldn't beat them. And then you have the Denver game, which you allowed how many points in the fourth quarter? And then yesterday, you let Caleb Williams come back down 10 points, which no offense to Caleb Williams. He has played better this year. The Bears have played pretty well so far. Not known for big fourth quarter comebacks so far through his young career.
Mm-hmm. Nope.
So I'm cool with Joe Schoen keeping his job, even though I think Joe Schoen has set Dable up for failure every single year.
Oh, yeah.
But Shane Bowen should have been fired, too. Shane Bowen is terrible. Mm-hmm. He's making Abdul Carter look terrible, and it pisses me off.
I think that's ultimately what got Dable fired was too many fourth quarter leads that he let get away. And it's not the way they let them get away. Like the Denver game and the Chicago game especially are the way, like, are games you just can't let it get away. You're up 26-7 entering the fourth quarter against Denver. Yeah. By no means you should let that game get away, because if you're up 26-7 in the fourth quarter, you should not be throwing a fucking pass. You should be just turning around and handing that ball out to try to run out the clock. Yep. You shouldn't even try. And then yesterday, too, you're up 20-10. You should not be throwing a pass unless you absolutely have to. You should be running that ball even on third down. Don't throw a pass. Do a quarterback rollout for 3 yards and then get to the ground and let the clock keep going. Like, you should not be trying to throw the ball if you're up by 10 with less than 5 minutes left. You good there? Or
what you got there, Sam? I'm waiting too.
No, I was watching, Ian Rappaport was talking about this whole Giants situation, and they're talking about not only is Joe Schoen keeping his job, he's going to head the search. So he's going to keep his job, it sounds like.
Good for the Giants. That's why they're where they are.
Oh, man.
And
that's
you know
just
what
going to set the Giants back like another 4 years.
What do you want me to tell you the name he just brought up? Well, first he said the era of Tom Coughlin. I said, I swear to God, if they hire Tom Coughlin, I'm laughing.
Oh my gosh!
No.
I don't even think he's coach anymore.
Oh, you don't want to see old red-faced Harry Potter elf fucking Coughlin no more? Come on, man, that'd be great. No, the name they brought up is Steve Spagnuolo because of his history with Tom Coughlin. And they may want to bring back that type of era of Giants football. And I'm like,
I don't think Spagnuolo even wants to be a head coach anymore, honestly.
Yeah. No.
Not at least with the Giants, no.
And not, yeah, but man, you know what? I know it's not going to happen, man. Spagnuolo could do something with that defensive line. Brian Burns, Kayvon Thibodeau, Abdul Carter, Dexter Lawrence. He could do something with that front.
So here's how it's going to go. Joe Shane's going to pick a new head coach. New head coach is going to suffer and fail because Joe Shane is terrible. He's going to get fired. Then a new GM's going to come in. Whoever the head coach is at that point isn't going to have much of a long leash. And ultimately, they'll probably end up getting fired.
Well, the other rumor that came out today, too, is one that makes a lot of sense, and it'd be somebody that has a long leash. Lane Kiffin, who was Jackson Dart's coach in college.
There have been some NFL rumors about Kiffin. Another team you've heard about.
Lane Kiffin has interviewed for jobs the last 2 years. You bring him to the Giants, he's going to have a long leash because they're going to let him work with Dart.
I mean, didn't Jackson Dart lead the SEC in passing last year?
Yep, with Lane Kiffin. And rumor is if Kiffin goes, the OC with him and Ole Miss will come with.
That's not bad. I honestly, yeah, because I mean, like, if you think of the NFL level, who really is there for an offensive mind? Like, I have a guy who I think is a rising candidate for a head coach job, but I don't think he's ready yet. And that's Minter, the DC from the Chargers.
Yeah.
I think dude, that Chargers defense is legitimate. They were a borderline top 10 defense last year. They're like a top 6 defense now. They do two things well. They get after the quarterback and they cover, man. They are a good defense. And the fact that team is 7-3 with backups for tackles right now is amazing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Minter's only a second-year DC under Harbaugh. I don't think he's even close to being ready yet. But just to name that one day down the road, I think he could, if he picks a good offensive staff, I think he could be a pretty solid head coach.
Yeah, I think Lane Kiffin to the Giants, so that makes a ton of sense.
It does make a lot of sense. Mike's in here. What's up, Mikey? Bringing up that there's too many losses that shouldn't have happened. Absolutely. Mike, I'm gonna put that comment anyway. It is that defense has too much talent to have blown 4 games with double-digit leads.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah, Mike. That's the other thing. They've had some wins that made no sense. Like somebody beat the Eagles by 17.
I think the Eagles beat them
Mike,
by 17.
They beat us by 17. We beat them by 18.
The funny thing is with the Lane Kiffin rumors, obviously they haven't really addressed anything with him yet just because the Dable firing happened today.
Yeah.
But if you watch his weekly presser that he always does on Monday morning, type in his weekly presser from today and look at how he looks. It literally looks like he just rolled out of bed, hung over as hell, and it looks like he's been on the phone with people all night talking about a new job.
Well, he was probably up all night, but talking to people about a new job was not what he was doing.
No, I'm just saying that's what it literally looks like. It literally looks like he's been fielding phone calls all night about whatever because he's in a T-shirt at the podium that's all wrinkled. He's got like bloodshot eyes. His hair is all messy.
Not a surprise. That's not a surprise. That's Lane Kiffin for you. But I do like that idea of Lane Kiffin. But because, like, again, I don't really know anybody coming from the NFL ranks that would fit that. Like,
are you talking about offensive coordinators?
I'm talking about anybody like, I don't know any offensive-minded gurus. Like, somebody brought up Josh McDaniels. I swear to God, if Josh McDaniels interviews for another head coaching job, I'm going to flip.
Drew Pitzing, the Cardinals OC.
I won't touch anyone on that Cardinals staff with a 10-foot pole.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Bobby Slowick.
I believe Slowick was unfairly fired in Houston, so actually I don't.
Bobby Slowick, I think, would be one. Kubiak.
Yeah, Kubiak would probably get a lot of consideration.
Especially with what he's doing with frickin' Darnold right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's definitely something. I keep forgetting Kubiak's in Seattle. Do we think Brian Flores would get
No.
consideration?
No.
I don't think so.
Another one. Look what he's done with the Vikings defense, and then look what he would have to do with that pass rush. That's the other thing.
Yeah.
It's getting the potential out of Jackson Dart, and I completely agree with that. I understand that. But with all the resources they have put into that defense, or lack thereof on the back end at least, that defensive line should be the best in football. That is
That's the
too
problem
much
with
power
the
on it.
Yeah, that's the problem with the Giants, though. I think Flores would be a good candidate if they did not draft Jackson Dart. The fact that they drafted Jackson Dart, they need a young, offensive-minded coach to develop and ride with Jackson Dart. Because you bring in a defensive-minded head coach like Flores,
Yeah.
you better hope to God he nails the offensive coordinator. Because if he doesn't, you're just killing the developmental of Jackson Dart. Versus if you bring in a guy like Clinton Kubiak or Bobby Slowick, who's a young offensive mind, not only can he bring another offensive coordinator with him, but both of them have play calling experience calling an offense. So if they want to run the plays as a head coach and call the offense, they can do that. Plus, they'll have the offensive coordinator they brought in with them.
Do you think the Giants talk to Kingsbury at all?
That's a good one. It's going to be so hard this year because he's going to get completely unfair because of how
I know.
how
I
banged up.
don't know. I would not be shocked if Dan Quinn is gone, and Kingsbury just takes over for Dan Quinn. Because Dan Quinn's doing exactly what he did in Atlanta. He had his one good year where he got to the Super Bowl with Atlanta, and then everything after that was mediocre at best. He had his one good year with the Commanders last year. This year, yeah, they've had to deal with injuries, but the way he handled Jaden Daniels last week is a fireball offense.
Yeah, it was not a good look for him at all.
He's taking a lot of heat right now for that.
Yeah, but again, that's another situation that I blame a lot on the front office. And this is not a shot. If Anthony, if you're watching and you hear this, I'm not taking shots at the Commanders. But I had to hear all season how the Commanders are going to win the NFC East. They have the better quarterback than the Eagles. They're the biggest threat to the Eagles. No, they were not. They have the oldest roster in the league. And you're seeing that. They gave up draft capital for an aging Laramie Tunsil who does not look the same.
Nope.
They drafted Josh Connerly to play right tackle. He looks awful.
Yep.
They literally have gotten older.
Older and wiser, but not, or I shouldn't say older, but not wiser.
So the only position they are set up for long term is quarterback. They have no long term answer at running back. They're what? Terry McLaurin ain't young. He's almost 30.
Well, they have that Ja'Cory Croskett-Marset, the rookie running back.
Oh, yeah, they do have Trosky Mayer. Sorry.
He's shown flashes, not consistent enough for me to be sold on him.
I think the problem is not having Daniels, though. Because Daniels adds that other element of running into that offense where you don't have to focus on Croskett-Marset. Without Daniels, you can focus more on him, and he's not going to be the same productive back. Because do you really trust Marcus Mariota to beat you with his arm?
Yeah.
Daniels can beat you with his legs and his arm if he has the time. Because look at when Daniels was healthy the first 4 weeks. Croskett-Marset was leading all rookies in yards. Because he had Daniels to kind of take that pressure off him. Since Daniels has been hurt, he's done next to nothing.
Yeah, but again, they're an old team. Their defense is old. And that's the thing. Dan Quinn, that's supposed to be his bread and butter. That defense is atrocious.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it wasn't really, honestly, let's be fair, it wasn't great last year either.
Yeah. It doesn't look good on paper, and it doesn't look good on the TV.
Nope.
I was told that the one cornerstone I think they do have is Mikey Sanders still, who I was told was better than Cooper DeJean, and I laughed people off on my airways with that. But their defense, I mean, people forget last year. The Commanders had a Cinderella year, yes. That's exactly what it was. You know why? Because the last time we saw the Commanders on the field last year, they had 55 hung up on them in the NFC Championship game.
Mm-hmm.
And look, Jane Daniels, if I was the Commanders, he wouldn't play another down this year. By the time he gets back, you don't even know what you're playing for. I wouldn't even risk the long term of my franchise. I may even consider. I understand Russell Wilson's bad, but if I'm the Giants, I may think about the same thing. The guy's been Jackson Dart has been evaluated for a concussion 4 times this year.
Yeah.
Why are you going to risk it? With no Malik Neighbors, no Cam Scatterbo. He is literally out there handing the ball off to Tracy and Singletary and hoping Wan'Dale Robinson can get open. The only pass-catching threat, not option, threat that he has is Theo Johnson, who I love because he's a former Penn State Nittany Lion. But still, what are they playing? What are you supposed to do? I think we've seen it from Jackson Dart. He's a gamer. No matter the score of the game, he's going to come out and play as hard as he can to try to win that game. He will make plays where you don't think he can. But what is the point of risking the health of him, especially with an offensive line that Joe Schoen has yet to improve for, 5 years as a GM?
4.
I mean, they have Andrew Thomas and what?
Paperweights.
That's it.
I think paperweights.
And even Andrew Thomas is banged up.
What?
I think paperweights might block a little more effectively.
They may accidentally trip somebody.
Probably, yeah. Probably.
But no, it's just... I understand Abel was probably going to get fired, but at the end of the day, if Joe Schoen keeps his job through this, I'm laughing.
He probably will, because if they were going to let him go, I feel like they would have let him go today.
I agree.
So, he's going to get another year.
He probably will, and they'll be the worst offensive line again. My first 2 picks next year should be offensive linemen. That could start day 1.
Yeah.
Because...
Not even that, or you should sign people too. If you want to do 1 pick on the offensive line in round 1 and then go and get offensive linemen in free agency. Because they're gonna have money. They're gonna have money to spend because most of that team is rookie contracts right now. Neighbors, Scalaboo, Jackson Dart, Thibodeau, Abdul Carter. Like they have so many rookie deals on this team that they will have the money to go and get some big name free agent offensive linemen.
Yes, and that's what we mean. Big name, Joe. Don't go out and sign the John Runyon Jr.'s and the Greg Van Rotens of the world.
Why not? Those are fun names.
Yeah, so is Evan Neal. Look how good that pick went. He can't even get on the field on a crappy offensive line.
I heard Brian Bulaga's looking for a job. You could go get him.
Oh, my.
Oh, my God. How many years did you just send me back?
David Bakhtiari. He isn't officially retired yet.
Oh, my.
Man, they might as well go see if Ryan Ramczyk wants to come out of retirement.
I heard Joe Thomas has got a little bit left in the tank. Let's go get him.
I heard Jason Peters is looking for the right amount of money.
Tyler, that's not funny because that's probably true.
Oh, I know it is.
Jason Kelce would suit up.
Nah.
He might get beat up by his wife if he did that, but you try.
Heck, Kylie could probably play some offensive line to be better than Evan Neal. It's just... Like, you're seeing what a good offensive line and a well put together offense does for a quarterback like Daniel Jones. Is Daniel Jones does he have his flaws? Absolutely. Still has a ball security issue from time to time. But when you have a Jonathan Taylor and you have a Tyler Warren and you have Michael Pittman and Alec Pierce and Downs and an offensive line that knows how to consistently play together, it masks a lot of those problems. And that's the problem with the Giants. Saquon Barkley and Daniel Jones got them to the playoffs. Daniel Jones got paid. Saquon Barkley got let go. And since then, Daniel Jones has been released and is now on the 1 seed in the AFC.
Yeah.
And Saquon Barkley is coming off a year where he ran for 2,000 yards and hoisted the Lombardi Trophy. And the Giants are still in the bottom of the division.
Who would have thought, like, Jonathan Taylor leading the NFL in rushing yards is not a surprise because he's done it before.
Yeah.
But who would have freaking thought that Daniel Jones would be the NFL leader in passing yards?
honestly. And Sam, I'm glad you brought up their offensive line because I'm trying to think back to when we did our offensive line top 10 lists. I know I had them pretty high up on mine. I don't remember if you had them on yours at all.
I may have had them there. I may have had them low because I thought the losses of Kelly and Fries would have hurt them. I'm never going to go against them again.
You can't. They're another team.
These guys just find it.
They just always find a way to put together the best five-man group possible.
Like, this is unbelievable what these guys do. Like, these guys are just unbelievable. But no, look, at the end of the day, I know Daboll is going to get fired. I completely understood it. But I still feel like a lot of the issues with this team is wrapped in Joe Shane's hands.
Yeah.
But, and again, I understand. I kind of understand we don't pay running backs thing. A lot of teams were like that. The Eagles were like that for years. I get it. But that's starting to change because you're seeing what, like we said, we all knew Saquon Barkley was a good running back with the Giants. He was a transcendent talent at college, and we knew what he was for the Giants. He was the soul of the offense. But you're seeing now when you have a transcendent talent going behind an average to below average offensive line to an elite one. You get elite production.
Yep.
And a lot of teams ended that whole you don't pay running backs. Baltimore did it with Derrick Henry. I understand this year's been a little bit of a down year for both him and Saquon, but a lot of it for Saquon at least has been the offensive line not playing well for the first 5 to 6 weeks of the season.
And I'm not.
Do you see the Packers?
And I'm not taking anything away from the season that Saquon had last year. How many touchdowns did Saquon have last year?
12, I believe.
15 if you count his receiving touchdowns, right?
Yes, 15. Yes, 15 altogether.
Jonathan Taylor has 17 right now.
And did he not just have his fourth game yesterday where he had
fourth game with 3 touchdowns yesterday? He had 289 all-purpose yards yesterday.
And he needs one more 3-touchdown game to tie the record of the season with LT.
Yeah, and he's got 8 games left.
And so he may break it.
He will break it.
He's gonna break it.
That's what I'm saying. Like he might not get to 2,000 yards just because the Colts have a very good offense, and he's not gonna be rushing for about 145 yards every week. Some games he's going to have less, but he'll probably still get to 1,800 yards. If he breaks the touchdown record, which he's well on his way to doing, how do you not give Taylor the MVP this year? He might not have the yardage that Saquon had last year, but he's going to have way more production. He's going to break a record that no one thought would ever be broken, especially in this era when the running back era is not what it used to be.
I agree. Look, I am the one that has strictly come on this show every week of the season and even in the offseason. When he is healthy, Jonathan Taylor is a top 3 running back.
Oh, yeah.
There's no argument to be made. The guy is super talented. And we just forget about it because the Colts haven't been able to get the quarterback position right. And they're just Daniel Jones hasn't been perfect. He still has had his turnovers here and there. But once again, when you take a guy who has struggled throughout his career, and you put him in a team with a culture of a strong offensive line, a strong run game, a transcendent talent at the tight end position, 3 wide receivers that are not top. Are they number ones on every team? No, but they all make plays. Michael Pittman makes plays. Pierce makes plays. Downs makes plays. Not to mention, you have an offensive genius in Shane Steichen, who basically had Jalen Hurts in the MVP conversation 3 years ago. Mm-hmm. He knows the type of quarterback that Daniel Jones is, and he knows how to coach it. Shane Steichen has single-handedly saved his job because of Daniel Jones.
So, Jonathan Taylor's 10 away from the record. Tomlinson had 28. But as of right now, Jonathan Taylor's technically tied for 15th all-time with 18 touchdowns. 4 more touchdowns puts him 4th all-time with 22 touchdowns in a season.
He may get that next week.
And then 25, 27, 28 are the 3 ahead of him.
I'm in agreement. How do you not have him in the MVP race? I understand it's a quarter.
It's the perfect time. Sam, I stole what you were just going to say. It's a quarterback-driven league. But the quarterbacks really aren't standing out this year.
Matthew Stafford.
Matthew Stafford, yes.
Freaking
He's
25 touchdowns. 25 touchdowns, 2 picks for Matthew Stafford right now.
He's the only competition to Taylor.
The year that he won the Super Bowl was the best year he's had it as a pro, and he had, I think, 43 touchdowns and 14 picks that year. He is well ahead of that pace this year, having a better year than he had that year. First quarterback in NFL history to have 3 straight 4 touchdown, 0 interception games.
I just made a YouTube short about that Friday, how Matthew Stafford is sneakily moving up the MVP.
Oh, he's not sneakily moving. He's not sneakily moving up it anymore. 3 straight games.
Oh, I know that, but look, when you listen to the national idiots, which I call them, all you hear about is, Patrick Mahomes, no offense, Josh Allen, who, by the way, has had an average to below average year for his standards. But that's all you'll hear. You'll hear about Allen, Lamar, Mahomes. Nobody talks about what Matthew Stafford does enough. And Matthew Stafford's doing one thing. He's getting better as he ages.
Mm-hmm. It does help when you have 2 guys to throw to instead of 1.
That is true.
True. And that's another thing. That's an offense this year that's kind of been one-dimensional. The run game hasn't been as effective. It's been effective, but Kyron Williams is not having the year he had last year. Blake Corums ran the ball pretty solid for them in the reps that he's been given, but the run offense hasn't been completely there this year. But no, Matthew Stafford, of course, if it's going to go to a quarterback right now, it should be Matthew Stafford. And then I guess after him, I know his numbers aren't jumping off the board as Matthew Stafford, but after that, quarterback-wise, I'm looking at Drake May because the Pats are freaking 8-2.
Yeah,
they're 8-2.
I would put Drake May third. I'd have Sam. Sam Darnold.
Oh yeah, Darnold should be up there too. Like
Darnold's playing.
The two, in my opinion, the 2 best teams in the NFL right now, and this is no disrespect to the Colts, this is no disrespect to the Patriots. 2 best teams in the NFL right now are the Rams and Seahawks.
I don't disagree with that.
And they play each other next week.
Please tell me that's prime time.
No. Did you see the games next week?
Oh.
Rams and Seahawks play each other at 3. Lions and Eagles at 7:30. The NFC's number 1 seed is basically up for grabs next week because those are the 4 teams that are vying for the 1 seed right now.
One time I wish we could have a Sunday night doubleheader. Give me that Sunday night doubleheader. Give me one game at 7, one game at 8:15, 8:20. Yeah, let's go.
And then the Seahawks and Rams will play each other in Week 18, which will be the Sunday night game most likely to end the year.
Wow. It's got to be the battle for the NFC West.
Yeah, but to show you how bad things were for Matthew Stafford with the Lions and how good things are now, with his win yesterday, Matthew Stafford is officially 500.
Yeah, I saw that.
In the NFL. Wow. That shows you how bad things were for him in Detroit, and yet the numbers that he consistently was putting up.
In my life, I've probably only seen 2 trades completely work out for both teams. I'm not talking about one team got a championship, the other team got 20 years out of a guy, and he was great. I'm talking about right now. There's 2 trades in the last, I'd say, 8 years that have worked out so far. The Matthew Stafford for Jared Goff trade. Lions are a premier NFC contender every year. Rams won a Super Bowl, also NFC contenders every year. The other one just happened last year, and that was Alex Caruso for Josh Giddey. That's worked out for both teams.
You could also say the Stephon Diggs to Buffalo, because that's what gave Minnesota Justin Jefferson.
Also true.
Because that was Buffalo's
So, hi, Dennis.
What's up, Dennis?
But yeah, no. Stafford is my MVP favorite. Then I have my second favorite, Jonathan Taylor. Then I have Drake May and Sam Darnold. Jonathan Taylor has to have consideration to be MVP. Legit consideration. Not fan consideration. This guy has to be in the MVP conversation. He's on pace to have a historic season.
Mm-hmm.
And this is following a historic running back season we saw last year.
Knowing the NFL, he'll win Offensive Player of the Year, and MVP will go to a quarterback.
I don't think Jonathan Taylor's going to win Offensive Player of the Year. I think he will get MVP, and I think Offensive Player of the Year goes to JSN. Because JSN is on pace to break Calvin Johnson's record, a record that nobody thought was going to fall.
Yeah, and this is a team that gutted their entire wide receiver room in the offseason. They traded away DK. They released Tyler Lockett. They signed Cooper Kupp, who's been banged up this year. Haven't had a legit wide receiver, too. I mean, Horton's been good, but I mean, that passing offense is mostly JSN.
Mm-hmm.
And now, they got some help now getting Shaheed from the Saints, which I think helps them a lot.
It does.
Yeah, it does.
It brings more. It gives you more vertical threat on the outside, something that they did not have. I mean, from whoever else was on their roster. Horton doesn't provide it. Cooper Kupp has never provided to be a vertical threat.
No.
But now you can't roll out all the deep coverage to JSN. And it just gives Darnold another weapon to work with. I love that trade for the Seahawks. I mean, what they give him, a fourth and a fifth for him? Was it something like that?
Yeah.
So, I mean, okay. I mean, do we remember that Saints offense last year through like 4 weeks? They were the best offense in football.
Yeah, they were.
Then everybody got hurt. But speaking of quarterbacks, and we're talking about teams that actually have good quarterbacks, I want to go to the other New York team. We spent a lot of time talking about Brian Daboll. Let's go to the other team. Let's go to the Jets. The Jets. Last week, fire sale mode. Sauce Gardner, gone. 2 first-rounders from the Colts. Quinnen Williams, gone. Trade to the Cowboys for a future first and a second. Jets going to they got a lot of draft capital coming in over the next couple of years. Do we think? Well, first of all, I think this was the right move. They're going nowhere once again. And do you want to know why the Jets never go anywhere?
They don't have enough
It's
Jets.
not because they haven't had. Yes, that is true. They've had defensive talent. They've had this defensive talent for a while with Tremaine Johnson, Will McDonald, Sauce, Reed, who left for Detroit, Quinnen Williams. They've had talent on that defense for a very long time. None of it matters if you don't have the most important position on the football field right. And outside of Aaron Rodgers last year, but we know how that ended, the Jets' quarterback resume since the year 2000, it's been a whole lot of yikes.
Oh, yeah.
So, do we think the Jets are possibly preparing themselves for a blockbuster draft trade?
Kyler Murray?
I'm not. No. I just want them to get better. I'm talking NFL draft trade. Look back at 2016. Rams and Eagles didn't have quarterbacks. Bam. Trade up for Jared Goff. Trade up for Carson Wentz. Would the Jets potentially use all this draft capital they had to potentially pull off a blockbuster trade to find their quarterback of the future?
They don't need to.
Why don't they?
Because the Jets are sitting with the number 2 pick in the draft right now. Titans are picking number 1. Titans aren't taking a quarterback. Jets will have whatever pick they want.
True.
Don't forget the Saints.
Okay, the Saints just drafted a quarterback last year. You think they're going to go quarterback again?
Yes.
Tyler so stinks.
I understand that.
I
understand that. But do you think the Saints will go back-to-back years drafting a quarterback, especially with
100%?
I do.
Listen, if I'm picking number 1 and Fernando Mendoza's right there, I don't care who my quarterback is. Now, okay, obviously I know there's other quarterbacks that you don't say that to, but still. If I'm picking one and Mendoza's there, I'm taking it.
This past year's draft was almost like a pity pick for the Saints.
Yeah.
They needed to take somebody because they weren't expecting Carr to retire.
Well, here's the thing, though, too. When it comes to the Saints, do they actually draft a quarterback? Because who's to say the Saints don't try and get Daniel Jones? He's only on a 1-year deal.
If I'm the Colts, I'm outbidding everybody.
Well, exactly. But if I'm the Colts, I'm outbidding everybody. But the Saints are going to have options in free agency. And Kellen Moore's always had success with more veteran-type quarterbacks. Does he actually want a rookie, or does he want a veteran quarterback? That's why I'm not sold on the Saints drafting a quarterback.
Kyler Murray.
What is with the fascination of
He's going to
Kyler
get
Murray
traded
with you?
somewhere. You realize that, right? So I'm just
He'll
saying
be
all
traded.
teams that could
I had
use.
another thought on Kyler Murray, and it's an off-the-wall thing, but it makes a ton of sense when you think about it.
What?
Kyler Murray to Washington, Jane Daniels to New Orleans. Kyler Murray's head coach, Cliff Kingsbury, is the OC in Washington.
I get
The only 3 years that Kyler Murray actually looked good as a starter was when Kyler Murray and Cliff Kingsbury were together.
That would be the fastest way for a GM to get fired in the NFL. I don't even think he could justify that to the owner. And I don't think the owner even cares about the football team.
I don't think it might not matter, though, because what is the biggest issue with Jaden Daniels coming into the draft?
His frame.
His durability. How long can Washington keep sticking him back there if he keeps getting injured? Kyler Murray might be small, but he's been very durable most of his career besides his ankle. That's why a trade like that might make sense, because can you invest all this capital into a guy like Jaden Daniels if he can't stay on the field? Washington's O-line is not very good. The Saints might be a terrible team, but the Saints' offensive line is actually not that bad. So you put Jaden Daniels behind an offensive line that can actually keep you upright, it's going to protect his durability versus Kyler Murray going to Washington. He knows the Cliff Kingsbury scheme. He's a lot more mobile, I think, at times than Jaden Daniels. And he won't put himself in the risk that Jaden Daniels does.
Washington's fan base would hate the team.
They would.
They would hate
But
it. So
they would, but you still. What happens if you get into a situation where Jaden Daniels gets hurt again next year and misses 5, 6, 7, 8 games, and then all of a sudden your season is lost again? How much longer can you put a guy out there that keeps getting hurt and you keep losing seasons?
Yeah.
That's why I'm not sold on the. That's why I'm not sold on the Saints drafting a quarterback, because I think there are going to be some trades or some veteran options that can be had for Kellen Moore to get a more veteran guy.
It's a crazy idea. Yeah. But, I mean, it could work.
And again, if you look at the quarterbacks that are going to be on this year, you're going to see Mendoza come out. I think Ty Simpson's coming out this year.
Can he, or does he have to stay one more year?
I think he can come out. And then, of course, there's the kid Moore from Oregon, right? He's coming out too, I think. But I mean, that right there is 3 guys that could change. That's already more depth. Last year's draft class stinks. Outside of Jackson Dart. And I'm saying that right now because I'm sorry. I understand they're not constructed the best. Cam Ward's got to show you something at least. He hasn't shown me a damn thing. And I said he was the best.
What talent does he have? Let's be real.
Jackson, you can make the same case for Jackson Dart.
Wan'Dale Robinson is at least a very reliable number 2. He had Scatabo for 4 games before Scatabo got hurt. So at least Jackson Dart had something to work with. Who the hell does Cam Ward have?
Cam Ward has a former 1,000-yard rusher in frickin' Tony Pollard and a former 1,000-yard receiver in Calvin Ridley.
Second worst offensive line in the NFL. That can't.
What the hell does Jackson Dart have?
An offensive line that's 24th.
That's bad.
But Jackson Dart can run, though. Cam Ward cannot. If Cam Ward is not a mobile quarterback, if you don't have an offensive line that can protect for you or open holes for your running game, you're screwed as a rookie.
I'm holding my statement true. Either way, whether Cam Ward works out or not, this upcoming draft class is way deeper.
Oh, it is
than last year's. And that's even with. Oh God. And again, and even look, I know the season was bad. I know he's out for the year.
Drew Aller gets drafted.
I was gonna say if Drew Aller gets drafted, if Drew Aller gets drafted into the right environment, I think someone could manage to find something for him.
He could be a steal, like late in the draft.
Drew Aller's going back.
He can't.
He can.
He's out of
He can redshirt.
He played too many games.
He played too many games.
Yeah.
You can only play 30% of your games. He played like 2 games too many.
Yeah. Unless they made some like unprecedented exception for him.
That's what I said. I did make the case. If I were him, I would try to see if I could come back.
I think he can. Is he a senior this year?
Yeah.
Yes.
He can come back as a grad transfer.
I said that too. If he had, even if it made him
happy. And what school is losing a quarterback in the draft where Allard could go right to?
Yeah, take your pick.
There's a lot.
Indiana.
Oh.
Mendoza leaves. Allard, you come in as a draft transfer or grad transfer. Does that not make sense? If you're Drew Allard, like you went from a potential top 10 pick and a top 2 quarterback to now probably being a 3rd rounder just because your injury and because Penn State really wasn't playing that well before he got hurt. What incentive do you have to go to the draft now where you can go as a grad transfer to replace a guy in Fernando Mendoza at the school that Fernando Mendoza just came from and have a good year at Indiana next year and instantly become a 1st rounder again?
Yeah.
Don't hate it.
I definitely think Drew Allard, he's viewing all options of not having to go to the draft this year because it would only make sense. I mean, like you said, very bad year. Penn State really wasn't letting him show off his game at all while he was healthy.
No,
the team looked bad. He looked bad.
Mm-hmm.
And then he gets hurt. So he would have had a better shot coming out last year. And I still don't think he would have been picked until like maybe day 2 at the earliest.
Yeah.
I agree.
So
I would not be shocked if he ends up in Indiana next year as a grad transfer.
If he can somehow make it happen to play one more year, by all means he should do it.
He doesn't have to. Because you don't really, to be a grad transfer, I don't even think you have to make anything happen. You just have to go take classes at the school you want to transfer to. There's no rules because you're not transferring just to transfer. You're transferring because you're out of eligibility at that school. But you might not be, like, depending on your major. I think grad transfers typically are ones that are done with eligibility at the school that they're at, but they have more classes to fulfill yet before they get their degree. So if you have more classes to fulfill and you still want to play football, you have to transfer to that other program.
You know what Drew Allard needs to do, Sam? He's got to reach out to Sean Clifford and see how that motherfucker pulled off playing 8 years for Penn State.
He was done at Penn State for 8 years.
It sure felt already. Like it was 8 years.
Well, you got to remember, he had 3 medical red shirts plus the COVID year.
That is true.
So Clifford got the luck of the draw.
Just for any of our Eagle fans watching, right now the units are warming up. Adoree Jackson is in with the first unit as corner 2. So,
of course he is.
Who else do you want them to line up out there?
Exactly. That's why I said, of course he is. There's no one else.
The Jair Alexander thing is more bizarre than anything right now, so I don't even know what's going on with that.
Yeah.
They're getting him up to.
They said they're getting him up to speed, and he's still recouping from the knee injury. They didn't say he was still hurt. They said he was still rehabbing it a little bit while getting defense. Yep. So I'm like, okay, which one is it? Does he stink? Does he not know the system, or is he still hurt?
You think Sean Clifford playing 8 years for Penn State was bad? Cam McCormick was granted a 10th year of eligibility for Miami this year.
That's insane.
And I want to talk about rehab and knee injuries. Paul George was supposed to meet with doctors this weekend to clear the final hurdle to play. Still out tomorrow versus Boston.
Yeah, because he didn't clear the final hurdle. He took the hurdle off the net.
I got a conspiracy theory about Paul George that I'm going to keep to myself for the time being.
What, that he doesn't want to play basketball?
You said it, not me. He'll be back in the clip. It'll be a Pacer or a Clipper by the end of the day.
Who?
But either way, let's get back to the back to our trade deadline stuff real quick, because like I said, I still think the Jets now, with all that draft capital they acquire, I think they are easily in the mode to either make, if they have to, let's say the Jets pull off the most Jets thing ever, right? And they accidentally win 2 or 3 games more. We've seen stupider things happen. They still have the draft capital. Remember, the Eagles were picking originally 12th in the 2016 draft. They moved up not once, but twice to get Carson Wentz. So, I, for one, personally believe that if they don't have to, then they don't have to. If those 3 all come out, because like I said, I know Mendoza's coming out. We know Moore's coming out. Ty Simpson, I think we're still waiting on his decision.
Yeah.
Personally. But if I'm Ty Simpson, I mean, you look at Drew Aller. Drew Aller bet on himself to go back and look what happened. If I'm Ty Simpson, I mean, Ty Simpson's had a great career this year. I think he's personally the second. He's my number 2. He may be my number 2 or my number or my 1A, 1B choice for the Heisman. As good as Mendoza's been, I think Ty Simpson's been just as good. So, again, you can make the case for either of these guys, but I don't. If I'm the Jets, if I don't put myself in a position to get a quarterback at the end of the year and I have to use some draft capital, who knows? And who knows? Maybe, guess what? And Dustin's right. They could be picking number 2 or 3. They could get Simpson. They could get more. But if they like Mendoza that much, they may say it's the Saints, right? They may give the Saints an offer they cannot refuse. We've seen plenty of that.
I mean, you got to remember, as long as Joe Douglas's kid is not playing Madden to make these deals.
At the end of the day, the Jets are the Jets. I don't care how many draft picks they have. I gotta see the final product.
But
they
yeah,
could
here's
whiff on
the thing,
all their picks and still just be the Jets.
Here's the thing. If you look at this, they have all the on the offensive side of the ball. They do have some of the most important things you need for a young quarterback. You need a number 1 wide receiver. They got that. You need a RB1 to take the pressure off him. You got that. The offensive line, when healthy, is, in my opinion, is a pretty solid unit. Fasanu and Membu are really good tackles, especially Membu. Fasanu's had had a little bit of an inconsistent year, but Membu is a stud. And then they've got
Membu's good, yeah.
And then you got Vera Tucker when he's healthy, John Simpson, and you have Tippmann at center. Now Tippmann's been playing a lot of guard this year because Vera Tucker has been out and Myers has played their center, but even that 5 has been fine. Like that's all the building blocks you need. You need a good offensive line, a number 1 wide receiver, and a number 1 running back. They've got all 3. So, and I mean, look, and for the people talking about the Sauce Gardner thing and like, oh, why they trade away for having a defensive head coach, Aaron Glenn was the head coach when Sauce got extended. Aaron Glenn and this regime don't care about their defensive stars. Their defensive stars clearly haven't been winning them any games. They're 1-7. What's the point of having all these star players if you can't win games? And that's the other thing. For the people saying the Colts overpaid, what do you want a team to pay for a top corner in the league? Which Sauce Gardner is. I don't know what people think others
in that game. Granted, it was his first game as a Colt. I'm not going to trash on him too hard, but I saw him fall down against London on the goal line. Not a good look for one of the best corners in the league. I get if you're going to get beat a couple of times.
You picked out one freaking play.
I saw him get picked on a couple of times. I've seen him make plays in the game, too. I watched a lot of the game. I saw him make plays, but I did see him get picked on a couple of times. All I'm saying is I've definitely seen a lot of corners better than him in the NFL.
Sauce Gardner, in his Colts debut, 6 tackles, 4 targets, 2 catches allowed, 30 yards allowed, 1 pass breakup, 0 penalties. What game were you freaking watching?
Like I said.
How many corners pound for pound right now are better than Sauce Gardner?
Yes. JC Horn.
No. I'm not getting. I said that to someone else. I don't think at worst they're equals to me with the two of them.
Surtain, Christian Gonzalez.
Of course,
Surtain,
Surtain's the best in the freaking league.
Too.
Who?
Gonzalez, Christian Gonzalez. I'm putting him over him too. And honestly,
I'll put him over when he stops grabbing his hamstring every 3 weeks. But
all right.
I know I love Christian Gonzalez. So we're at what, 5? Wait, hold on. Stingley, Gonzalez. We're like 4. So he's at 5. That's all I said. I can't say he's a top 5 corner.
That depends on if you want to put Quignon over him yet or not.
Oh, I may put Quignon. I'm putting Quignon over him and Christian Gonzalez.
So then he's outside the 5 at 6.
Okay, that's cool.
I'm not saying he stinks. That's not what I'm trying to say.
He still works it. It's still, and for the people saying they overpaid, no. Overpaying would be trading 2 first-round picks for like 30-year-old Darrelle Revis. Even though Darrelle was always really, though up till he was 32, Darrelle was really good. But that's an overpay. You're paying for a guy who's 25 years old.
And a guy that just signed a 5-year extension 2 months ago.
Exactly.
So you literally have him locked up for 4 years. So that's why people want to say it's an overpay. Dude's got 5 years of control left after this year, so it's not.
And again, if the Colts are this good for this and next year, those are going to be basically early second-round picks anyway. If you want to look at it, they're going to be picking in the mid to late 20s if they get. Well, they're at least going to be picking into the 20s because they're going to be unless something catastrophic happens in the next 2 months, they're going to be a playoff team. So. I think the trade works out well. I think the Jets need draft capital so they can rebuild their roster. I think the Colts got a premier player at that position and they added to a secondary that's already really good with Cross and Bynum and Ward and all these other and Kenny Moore and Mekhi Blackman. They got a really good secondary. And now Sauce just comes in and puts it all together. I'd say Sauce is the best corner of football, but for people coming all over saying they did not, he's not top for at least 8. You're out of your freaking mind. Also, I understand the last couple years weren't as to the height of what those first 2 years were. Do you understand how physically daunting it is to be a New York Jet? Do you understand the mental health issues that it may cause to be a New York Jet? The Jets are
New York Jets.
Oh, any team that plays in New York.
Half of your games on the MetLife turf.
Exactly. A change of
your health insurance.
Changes of scenery help certain players. Maybe this is one of them. Look at C.J. Gardner-Johnson. He looked like crap in Houston. He goes to Chicago. He looks like he's back in Philly. Now, granted, it helps that he has Dennis Allen with him again.
Yeah.
But now let's move over to the other big trade that the Jets made. Quinnen Williams to the Cowboys for a first-round pick and a second-round pick. And Nakobe Dean can't tackle. Great. Awesome.
Oh, no. What do you mean? That was Adoree Jackson.
Was it?
Yes.
The camera went to Dean.
Oh, Dean pushed him out of bounds.
I don't know.
Adoree's the one who whipped the tackle.
Why was Adoree the first defender near the running back coming out of the backfield?
Great question.
Who is he not guarding to go after?
Is he playing in a flat zone? I have no idea.
Anything with Adoree is a flat zone. But anyway. Can somebody tell 53 and 17 I prefer them to tackle behind the line of scrimmage? There's Jalen Phillips. I think Phillips is going to get a lot of run.
Oh, yeah.
I ain't buying all that crap with the up-to-speed stuff with Jair Alexander. I'm definitely not buying it with these two. But, back to the Quinnen Williams trade. I get it for the Jets. Like I said, I think the Jets are doing it smart. They got to recoup on some draft assets. They got to get younger and get that long-term needed quarterback figured out. I don't know what the Dallas Cowboys are doing. Does somebody want to try to explain that to me?
I guess they figured that would try to help their run defense. But I don't know if they should be worried about their run defense because their whole defense just looks non-existent.
I mean, all they have to do is get rid of Matt Eberflus and things will improve.
That's a good place to start. Just ask the Bears.
Yeah.
Yeah. I for one, I understand, but that's the thing though, right? If you look at Dallas, are they in a position to make this move? Like Quinnen Williams, he's a good player. I think he's one of the better interior defensive linemen in all of football. I understand the stats don't to say that he's there, but I don't know why Dallas would trade away capital for a defensive tackle at this point.
It's a big, knowing how much help you need on the defensive side of the ball that one player isn't going to fix. Why would you trade away all of that? You're not even really in a position. Yes, if you win out more games the rest of the year, you could be a playoff team. But with how they've looked defensively, they don't look like they're going to be anywhere near the playoffs.
Oh, they're 3-5-1.
Yeah, they're going to be on the outside looking in. And they're making a move that a contender team would typically make. And all it's really doing is just setting them back more.
Yeah.
Jalen Carter, Moro Ojomo, and Jordan Davis are getting on my last freaking nerve right now. They're just standing there holding their block. They are not trying at all to get upfield and stop these plays behind the line. I am getting real sick and tired of it.
Sam's ahead of me, so I can't see what he's ranting about. Maybe he's overreacting. He tends to do that, everybody.
Because
I can't watch the game.
There's no interior push. It's just all just hold block, don't move.
Was that the first down run or the second down? Oh, now he's excited.
Down goes Jordan Love. I'll let you see who got him.
Oh.
But
I can't watch the game.
That was Jalix. So, Sam, I know what point you're at in the game now. I know at what point you're ahead of me. You were mad that they gained a yard running the football? Because
there's no push.
Sam, like I say this as nicely as I can. Shut up.
Okay. Call me when 98 feels like playing like a generational talent.
Well, they just got a sack now. You hold it
now
1 yard off.
It's 3rd and 20.
3rd and long.
Oh, no. Is that a Dore?
Oh, no. Please don't say that. Sam, let's go back to the show. Incomplete. Okay, good.
No, because it was Quignon.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say, if I hear a Dore in the same sentence.
Oh, my God. Quignon can't get up.
No.
Well, Healy and Adore. Here we go. Just
Quignon Mitchell injury.
Yeah. Lower leg. Looks like a lower leg injury. You better get Jair Alexander up to speed real quick because he's gonna be playing a lot now.
My worst nightmare has just came true.
I don't know where he got hurt. I don't know if he got.
If it's lower leg and non-contact, it's Achilles.
He's not holding the back of his leg though.
No, it's I don't know what.
I don't know if his shin.
He's jogging off. Okay, he looks okay. He looks a little dingy, but he looks all right.
Did his shin get banged?
I wonder if he got. He didn't spike him, did he?
I don't know. It may have been accidental if he did.
Maybe a little knee to calf contact because that'll cramp up in the cold real quick.
I think so.
If you get hit in the calf in the cold, that crap will cramp up real fast. He was jogging off. He seems to be okay.
Yeah, it looked like something that was a stinger. like you said, how cold it is out there.
Yeah, that crap will cramp up real fast.
All right. A little scared. Jesus, I hate
Jalen-
Adoree Jackson.
All the people that said Jalen Hunt wasn't ready for a bigger role, you're an idiot.
And
Jalen
Sam,
Hunt was good
when we hold them to 1 yard on first down, shut your mouth.
I could maybe make him lose a yard instead of let him gain a yard, but okay.
All right, buddy.
By the way, people say I go on one play, so does Tyler.
Oh.
Jacobs was averaging 3 yards a carry on that drive.
I'm glad to hear that. Fantasy football, let's go. It's not looking good.
Jalix Hunt, that was the second sack of the year for Jalix.
Nice. Saw some early production out of Phillips, too. Had him out on the field a lot.
So you're still seeing Jahad Campbell with some edge rusher snaps there with Dean playing off ball.
Yeah.
Look, and it's not against Jahad Campbell. I think Jahad's going to be a great player. Just Dean brings a physicality to the team. That right now Jahad doesn't.
He's a lot more sound in coverage.
Who, Jahad?
No, Dean.
I think it's the other way around. I think Dean's good in coverage. I think Jahad had one of the highest coverage grades when he was starting. I think Dean brings more of that physical between the tackles type thing. So, all right, Quinyon to the medical tent. Not a surprise. Of course, they're going to want to look at him. But, all right, so back to our trade deadline stuff. Basically, the only 3 trades, right? Quentin Williams goes to Dallas. Sauce goes to the Colts. Shaheed goes to the Seahawks. Oh, yeah, I forgot Tyler. Don't forget the Cowboys also traded for Logan Wilson, too.
I did see that.
Don't get me wrong. I don't want to criticize. Like, I know I'm an Eagles fan. I don't want to criticize the Cowboys that much. The middle part of their defense all year has been a joke. They haven't had a middle linebacker since Sean Lee. Shout out to Leighton Vander Esch before all his knee injuries and neck injuries. But they haven't had a middle linebacker of quality in a long time. So I don't mind Logan Wilson. And again, for people that are like making jokes about this, Jerry Jones came out literally and said, we could use those assets for Micah to acquire other Pro Bowl caliber players. And they did. Now, we still have to wait and see if that is what they give up, because the first round pick they gave up to the Jets, it will be the higher of the two, whether it's the Cowboys pick or the Packers pick. So whichever team finishes in a better position, that will go to the Jets. So assuming it's going to be the Cowboys pick, because the Packers are going to be picking way behind them for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
And does it make a lot of sense in the moment? No, because the Cowboys are 3-5-1, and they were essentially buyers at the deadline, which this isn't the old NFC where buyers, you can get in with like 7 or 8 wins. This is like...
The only reason why they were buyers is because they have the best offense in the NFL, and they have the worst defense. So even any slight improvement defensively could lead to more wins as long as their offense plays the way they've been playing.
I agree, but
that's why they're buyers, because how many, like, look at the tie they had with the Packers and you look at some of their losses this year, it was like a 37-34 game. Like, the offense has been doing the heavy lifting all season. It's been the defense that has let them down. So you go and be a buyer at the deadline to get 2 big defensive pieces. If you had one of these pieces at the beginning of the year, they get one stop in any one of these games at the beginning of the year, the Cowboys could be a 5-3-1 team instead of 3-5-1. They're not that far off from being a 5-3-1 football team as opposed to a 3-5-1 team.
Yeah, I mean, they're 2 or 3 CD Lamb catches away from beating the Eagles in week 1.
That's why they're buyers, because their record is one thing, but when you watch their games, for the most part, they are a better team than a 3-5-1 team. It's just that their defense has been so atrociously bad that it's masked how good that offense has been.
And don't get me wrong, sometimes the offense at times on the road hasn't looked compared at home, but that's every team. No team's offense operates consistently on the road than it does at home. It's like this thing with, like Dustin said it the last time he was on with us about saying, like, I can't stand the strength of schedule talk, which I'm really getting sick and tired of that. No team, do you think the Eagles are going to look, oh boy, there he goes. 2 6s in the building. But again, no team's offense will always look consistent on the road. And like Dustin said, their offense has been, I mean, Dak Prescott has played really good football this year.
Yeah.
CeeDee Lamb has looked really good since he's been back healthy. George Pickens stepped up big time for them when CeeDee was out. Say that again, Tyler?
Ferguson, too.
Yeah. They've ran the ball well with Javonte this year. They have had a very solid, good offense this year. And they just need, I mean, all they would need is for the defense to look somewhat adequate. And they have not done that. Now, a lot of things I think personally that's hurt their secondary, like Diggs and Bland, have been lack of pass rush. Wow. Who could have saw that coming after getting rid of one of the best pass rushers in the league, right?
Yeah.
But hopefully Quinnen Williams helps a little bit of that. Quinnen Williams can be a very productive interior pass rusher. So I get the philosophy. And it's not like Quinnen Williams is a rental. It's not even like Logan Wilson's a rental. They're both – Quinnen Williams has 3 more years on his contract. Logan Wilson, I believe, has 2 years remaining on his contract. So these guys are going to be there for a couple of years. And if Dallas continues to work the framework and put together a solid defense, all their draft picks over the next couple of years should be on their defense. Offensive line is good still. Dak is playing some pretty solid football. They just got to keep improving their defense because Quinnen Williams can be a very good player on a top-tier defense. Like I said, How many interior defensive linemen do you think are better than Quinnen Williams? I know I said this earlier with Sauce Gardner and corners, but how many guys do you think are better than him? And I'm looking at Dexter Lawrence, Chris Jones. I think right now Jalen Carter is starting to get into that tier where he's better, and I'm running out of names now.
Yeah.
He's
gotta be on that list.
So it's not like they traded for like a half-decent player. They traded for a guy who could be top 5 at his position.
Right.
But so I know, like Dustin said, the Cowboys are only a few plays away from being way better than a 3-5-1 team. Which one of these, if you take these 3 trades, Sauce Gardner to the Colts, Rashid Shaheed to the Seahawks, and Quinnen Williams to the Cowboys, which one do you think has the most potential to be the most impactful of the 3?
Sauce, just because of the length of the contract.
Okay. Tyler?
What was the question? I was watching the game.
The question was, out of the 3 major trades throughout the season that happened last week, which one do you think had the most impact?
Most impact? I'm going to go with Sauce Gardner.
All right, so
as
you
far
and
as the biggest impact now, that's got to be the number one, because you take a team that's already top of the AFC, make their defense even better. I don't see the same impact. Yes, Quinnen Williams is good. I don't see the same impact overall for the Cowboys. It doesn't move their needle much this year.
Fair enough. I think it's mostly a down the road type move. Like, it maybe in a year or 2, he's more impactful down the road when their defense is a little bit better. Because, I mean, they have some interior defensive linemen. I mean, Kenny Clark's a veteran now. He kind of transitions a little bit to a lesser role. I mean, he's getting older. He's not going to be the guy he was in Green Bay.
Exactly.
They still have Adigizua, who is a really good interior pass rushing defensive tackle, but that's about it. Mine, on the other hand, I am not going to go with either of the Jets players. I'm going to stick to what I said a few days ago on Twitter. I'm going to say it's Rashid Shaheed going to the Seahawks. That Seahawks offense has already been really good. They've ran the ball effectively enough. Sam Darnold has looked just like he did last year. And JSN is JSN. Dude is literally climbing up the boards into the elite tier of wide receivers. Shaheed's going to bring up a whole nother style to that offense. They have needed another guy that could stretch the field vertically and help bring some of that attention away from JSN. Shaheed does that.
He does.
Look out. Like Chris Olave had all that room to operate because he was facing one-on-ones. They couldn't double him. They couldn't roll coverage because he could take the top off of a defense.
Yeah.
So, and again, with the way Sam Darnold's been playing, I do not. I think it's just a perfect fit next to JSN. So, all right, let's move on into our final little stuff of the night. What would you guys like me to bring up first? The AP for this week or the playoff bracket from last week?
I don't think the AP even matters at this point. It's the
Yeah.
college football playoff bracket's the only pool that matters at this point.
Yeah.
Because
All right, well, for once,
because if you're not in the top 12, it doesn't matter. You're not making the playoff anyways.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, here you go. Here is your first playoff bracket.
Oh man, what a joke!
And yes, just for anybody, I believe Memphis actually is ranked again. So for where it says not ranked, they're actually back in the rankings. But strictly getting in just because you lead your conference to me is a flat out joke.
Yeah, I still don't like that aspect of the bracket. Like, I get it. On one side, you're trying to avoid having it just be SEC versus Big Ten.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, that is where the most exciting football is coming from. You want to get big views for during the college football playoffs, you want these big teams. That's why when they first started the 4-team for the college football championship, it was the biggest teams in the country. It wasn't, this team won the I don't even know, AAC, not the ACC. Like, you want to see the big teams. I want to see Texas in there. Give me Texas at 12 versus Georgia. That's the matchup we want to see.
Give me Oklahoma. I'd rather see Oklahoma than freaking Memphis.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. BYU's been constantly in the top 20, basically in the top 12 most of the year.
BYU's out after getting absolutely destroyed by Texas Tech last weekend.
That's what I was going to say. The only team that's really the only team in this that is, yes, now, granted, a lot's happened since this bracket was released, and the new one will come out tomorrow. But again, we're only live on Monday, so we can only go off what we had last week. I will bring up the AP Top 25 in a second, just for the shits and giggles of the matter. The only team that's not SEC or Big Ten that I think can compete with any of these schools outside of those non-conference Nimrods at the bottom. Yes, I call Notre Dame non-conference because they are. The only team that I think can legitimately contend with Notre Dame's, the Ole Misses, the Ohio States, the Alabamas, the Georgias is Texas Tech. I don't think Virginia can do it.
No.
I don't think BYU's a solid team. Oh my God, Jalen! You going to start the week after the bye with that crap?
Oh no!
What is he? Are we going to go? Are we back? Or am I going back to 2023?
Oh no!
You better been down. Nope, he's out. Ball's out. But no, I personally I don't. Again, I don't like the idea of just because you lead your conference. I mean, the more embarrassing part of the thing is the fact that you have a team in Memphis that would be the 12 seed, and all the way on this left hand side, literally not ranked. Like that at the time, that's embarrassing. That we have teams not ranked. I don't care that they're leading their conference. And if you want me to bring it back up in a second, I will. But like now, I just don't understand it. I don't get it. I never have understood it. But it is what it is. Now, I guess to pop over to this week real quick, some changes. Now, Texas looks like they're probably going to be in it this week because they are now number 10. I guess I'm assuming they would. I mean, the first four are on bye, so they're in. Georgia, Ole Miss, and Oregon are in. Texas Tech is in. Notre Dame would still be in.
Texas will just take BYU's spot.
Yeah, so the first two out are Oklahoma still Virginia and BYU.
Virginia's in because they're winning the ACC. That's why they're in. They're one of the Power 4 conferences, and you're automatically getting in if you win that.
What conference is Georgia Tech in?
ACC. But they're behind
they're an ACC team.
What?
I don't understand the Virginia, Georgia Tech, Louisville, or Pittsburgh is going to be in that college football playoff because those four teams are all separated by one game in the ACC. Whoever wins the ACC is getting into the college football playoff.
Which is fine. An ACC team should be in there. I still just don't believe that Memphis should be in there. But
I don't even think Ohio State should be number 2 or number 1.
Oh, we could do that. We could do that for 5-10 minutes here if we wanted to.
I think Ohio State should be number 3.
Really?
Yeah.
So what would your top 3 look like?
Indiana, Texas A&M, Ohio State.
Really? I could give you Indiana. I don't know about A&M.
The only reason why I'm going to say A&M is number 2 is they are in the best conference in college football. They are undefeated in that best conference in college football. That carries weight.
Let's take a look at Texas A&M real quick.
And like Ohio State, like yes, Ohio State hasn't had the easiest or the hardest of schedules. Kind of same thing with Indiana. But if I'm comparing Ohio State and Indiana on paper, outside of the Penn State game this week, in which Indiana honestly needed a game like that, in my opinion, they needed a close game where they had to figure out how to win late. Indiana has absolutely blown the doors off of every team they faced this year. Like they earned in my opinion, they have earned the number 1 spot in the college football playoffs because they went on the road to Oregon, a team that has always been a difficult place to go. And yes, that final score may say 30-20, but Indiana was up 30-13.
Yeah.
With like 2 minutes left. Like they dominated Oregon on the road.
Back to Texas A&M. They don't have enough ranked wins for me.
It's just because of how the SEC is now, though. You're not playing everybody in the conference like you used to when you were in like a East and West division.
Yeah. I would have liked to see a couple bigger SEC teams in there. I mean, they got LSU that they beat. LSU's been falling forever.
But like, here's the thing, though. You say that they don't have a lot of ranked wins, right? Auburn was 3-0 when Texas A&M played them. So just because these teams aren't ranked right now doesn't mean they weren't ranked when Texas A&M played them.
Auburn wasn't ranked when Texas A&M played them.
Yeah, I know, but Auburn was still 3-0 at the time. Though, like Auburn was a decent 3-0 team, and then Mississippi State, when Texas A&M played them, I believe was 3-1. Like the teams that Texas has beaten, they may not be ranked, but whatever. That's the whole thing that's the thing I hate about college football.
Auburn was 3-2 when they played Texas A&M.
Really? Okay. But like that's the thing that I hate about college football is they always say like, oh, this team only has 2 ranked wins. do they, or were they actually playing teams that were ranked at one point, but they may not be ranked now? Because if you're not ranked at a certain point of the schedule, it doesn't count as a ranked win. So if you beat a team that was number 5 in the country to start the year, and then 4 weeks later they're out of the top 25, that does not count as a ranked win towards your record anymore.
Here's how I'm looking at this. First off, I don't even think. So here's the thing. I think the first two are fine. Ohio State, we say this every year. They shouldn't be this. They shouldn't be that. We had them all getting blown out every game we picked in the playoff last year. They beat the crap out of Tennessee. They beat the crap out of Oregon. They beat the crap out of everybody. Mm-hmm. And they're still owners. I don't care what Indiana's done. They're still the owners of in my opinion, the best defense in college football.
Oh yeah, that's without a doubt.
I don't know if Indiana is going to have the offensive success against that defense. I don't know if Texas A&M is going to have the success that they have to play that defense. I don't even think A&M's the best team in the SEC.
You think Alabama?
Yes. Bama looks to me like they did a few years back. I think Alabama's played really good football. And this is coming off of somebody who was not big on Kalen DeBoer heading into the season. I said it. They don't get in. If they mess up again this year, he's going to be on the hot. And I would have been right. You see all the coaches that got fired. If Alabama didn't make it this year, he would definitely have gotten fired.
Mm-hmm.
Here is one thing I still can't get over. I cannot believe. I understand we're talking about who was ranked then, who was ranked wherever. I cannot believe actually, no, that still counts because both these teams are still ranked. How you start the year 0-2 against ranked opponents, and you are somehow the 9th freaking best team in the country.
Because you lost at Texas A&M 43-42.
I don't care if you lost.
That is why Notre Dame is where they are, is because of that Texas A&M game. They lost 43-42.
It's a combination of that. They lost by a combined 4 points to Miami and Texas A&M.
And both those games were on the road. They were not at Notre Dame.
It looks like Texas A&M was home game.
Was it?
For A&M. Yeah. They were on the road to Miami.
Yeah.
I knew they were on the road to Miami.
Yeah. So those are not going to be considered bad losses.
But I still I agree with Sam to an extent that who have they really played aside from USC?
Well, we made that argument for Notre Dame last year too. We said that their schedule was so soft last year they didn't deserve to be where they were, and here they are going to the college football championship last year. Notre Dame is going to always be Notre Dame. They can only play who they can schedule because all these conferences now are 16 to 18 teams. These conferences are locked into 9 games per year for the most part. Notre Dame doesn't have the flexibility they used to have to schedule all these games they want to schedule. Now it's becoming a point where Notre Dame can only schedule who they can get because they can't schedule all these USC games anymore. They can't schedule Michigan every year anymore, Michigan State. Notre Dame used to be able to schedule 8 or 9 games against the top 25 teams in the country because you didn't have as many conference games. You didn't have these big conferences like you do now. Now Notre Dame is lucky to get 2 or 3 ranked opponents a year because they don't have the flexibility to do it anymore. They just have to beat who's on their schedule, and they have to beat them for the most part convincingly to convince the panel they deserve to be there. And for the most part, that's what Notre Dame does. They win convincingly.
I can only hope that Pitt knocks them off.
But back to what Sam was saying about the defense. Ohio State has the number 1 defense in the country.
Yeah.
Do you want to know who the top 5 in the country is defensively?
Shoot.
Number 1, Ohio State. Number 2, Iowa. Number 3, Oregon. Number 4, Indiana.
Hmm.
3 of the top 7 teams in the college football playoffs are ranked in the top 4 defensively. So a lot of people say you don't think Indiana's going to have that much offensive success against Ohio State. You can say the same thing about Ohio State's offense against Indiana.
Yeah.
I don't know if it. Okay, yes. But the one thing I will say is I don't know if Indiana, the one advantage that Ohio State has over almost everybody in the country, they've got two guys on the outside that are going to be playing on Sundays in the near future. I don't know if Indiana has a real answer to both of them. One, maybe. Both?
The other advantage that Indiana has against Ohio State, and I'm going to say this because I think it's going to happen, is Indiana's probably going to get Ohio State twice in the last 4 weeks of the season. They're going to get them in the Big Ten championship game, and even if they lose that Big Ten championship game, they're probably dropping from 2 to 4, which gives them a first-round bye in the college football playoff. And there's a good chance that they could see Ohio State in the national championship game again. But do you remember when Indiana went to Ohio State last year? And everyone was making a lot of like, oh, is Indiana for real or whatever? And then the final score of that game, I think, ended up like 34-17. Ohio State won, and everyone was like, oh, Indiana got crushed. Ohio State had 2 blocked punts in that game, leading to 14 points. Indiana was not outplayed by Ohio State that much last year in Ohio State. The score was what it was because they had 2 block punts that led to 14 points. You take those block punts off the board, it's a 20-14 game, and possibly even Indiana winning because they would have had a chance to pin Ohio State deeper because Ohio State really did not move the ball that well against Indiana last year.
Yeah. It's hard. See, the NFL, it's easier. In college football, to base anything off the year prior is so hard because of the amount of turnover that we get.
But you look at both of these rosters, though. There really hasn't been that much turnover on Ohio State's roster.
Yeah.
The running back room, yes. The quarterback room, yes. But they still have Jamar Smith on the outside. They still have the other receiver on the outside. Indiana, the only things that they've lost was their quarterback. Indiana's roster is basically the same roster they had last year, just a different quarterback in Fernando Mendoza.
I don't disagree with it.
Because I remember looking at the beginning of the year, it said Indiana had 9 starters back on offense, 8 starters back on defense from last year's team. So Indiana does not have a lot of turnover from their team last year. A team that went toe-to-toe with Ohio State on the road last year, and had it not been for special teams meltdowns, which was uncharacteristic of Indiana because they were pretty much flawless all year in all 3 phases, they probably upset Ohio State in Ohio State last year.
Then I guess this all comes down to where we're at with. I mean, it's the 2 biggest conference matchups are going to be those 2 teams. It's going to be Big Ten is going to be Indiana and Ohio State, and then the SEC is going to be A&M and Bama, unless Georgia finds a way to sneak their way into it.
A&M would have to lose to who do they play this week? I think they play South Carolina. I gotta double check.
Be careful with South Carolina.
Yeah, they play South Carolina. So I mean, if South Carolina puts them on upset alert, these rankings are going to shake up.
Yeah, I mean it's South Carolina in Texas A&M though. Alabama's got Oklahoma this week. Oklahoma's defense is number 6 in the country. Oklahoma's defense is going to give Alabama some problems.
They will. But then if Alabama beats yet another good ranked opponent, shouldn't they jump up?
They won't jump unless Texas A&M loses. They're not going to pass Texas A&M.
Yeah, I know.
You're not going to put a 1-loss team ahead of an undefeated team.
Yeah, I can only dream.
Especially from the SEC.
I don't disagree. All like we said, this stuff is all going to interchange so much over the next couple of weeks that at the end of the day, it's going to take its sweet time to freaking all come together. I still personally think that Ohio State has Now, granted, has Ohio State played the greatest of competition? No. I mean, they beat Illinois on the road when they were still ranked 17th. But yes, granted, that was a long time ago. They still own that week 1 win over Texas, who are currently right now still a top 10 team. They've somehow gotten back into it.
And Texas A&M finishes the year at Texas.
Ooh.
That will be an interesting.
That'll be the interesting.
I said it a few weeks ago. Texas can control their own fate this year. They have to beat the good teams that are remaining on their schedule, and there's no reason why they can't find themselves in the playoff bracket.
And then you have Indiana, who's got Wisconsin and Purdue their last 2 games.
They should win out.
They should.
Yeah.
They should win out. If they don't win by a combined,
they better win out.
Shocking.
Wait, who plays Wisconsin and Purdue their last few?
Indiana against Wisconsin and Purdue their last 2 weeks.
Indiana's biggest threat came just this past Saturday.
That's what I'm saying. If they don't beat Wisconsin but Purdue by 50 points each, you might be considering that a disappointment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I said. Like Indiana's penciled in my opinion, to be not only in the Big Ten championship game, but they're penciled in to be a top 4. Because if they go 12-0, which they should, even if they lose to Ohio State in the Big Ten championship game, they're not going to drop out of the top 4.
I agree. I think the top 4 is set. I don't think there's going to be the only if A&M. Now you said A&M ends the year at Texas. If that happens. The only team that I see sneaking into this top 4 and changing up is right there with Georgia. Now, who does Georgia play for the remainder of the season?
I was just about to pull that up.
So they play Texas this week.
Yeah.
So you're looking at if Texas beats them, then Texas beats Arkansas and Texas A&M. We might be looking at Texas back in the top 4 or 5.
I think the team that is going to end up sneaking into number 4 is Ole Miss.
Ole Miss has been good this year.
Ole Miss has the 1 loss to Georgia, and theoretically, it was a loss that they never should have had. They were up, 35-20 in that game, ended up losing 43-35 or whatever.
Yeah.
And Ole Miss's last 2 games are against Florida and Mississippi State. They have the easiest road of A&M, Alabama, and Georgia the rest of the way.
We have ice cream.
Yeah. And who's Bama got the rest of the year?
Bama's got Auburn to end the year. And then whoever they got this week. I forgot who they got this week.
Because they just beat LSU last week. So Hey, let me see if I can help you.
Alabama's got Oklahoma. Oklahoma this week, Auburn next week.
Oh, that's going to be a tough. Oklahoma is a tough one still.
That's what I'm saying. I think Ole Miss is who's going to ultimately get in that top 4 because they have the easiest road of Alabama, A&M, Georgia, and Texas. I don't see A&M winning the last 2 games. I think they drop 1. I don't see Georgia winning their last 2. I think they drop 1, and I think Bama drops 1.
Mm-hmm.
Ole Miss has the easiest road of all those teams.
They do.
They do. And at this time of the year, that's all that matters is the ease of what the schedule that you have remaining looks like. Like, if Indiana doesn't get
pissed, they lost that game to Georgia.
I bet they are.
Because if they beat Georgia, they're probably sitting at number 3 ahead of Texas A&M.
Agreed. Now, we are starting to wrap up here. Before we do go, can we please talk about that Penn State Indiana ending real quick? Oh my God.
That was a sick catch.
Penn State's season, the 2 biggest games have come between blades of grass. Like, oh my God, that is just such a ridiculous throw from Mendoza, who was getting all out 0 blitzed for the 2nd consecutive time in a row.
Mm-hmm.
And oh my God, dude, the catch was just ridiculous.
If you listen to Mendoza after the game too, he said he thought he broke his rib.
He probably did. He got popped. He got popped like 4 times on that drive. The drive starts at their 20. It starts with a 7-yard loss for a sack. And he goes All those freaking yards.
Yep, that was his Heisman moment.
It was. Is that your? Do you guys have a Heisman favorite before we go?
Mine changes a lot. I think I have one, and then they disappoint me.
Before the South Carolina game a few weeks ago, mine was Ty Simpson, but now he's played okay since then. He hasn't really shown he hasn't had the greatest of nights, but it's like now Mendoza just did that.
I think
His
Mendoza
best question.
saying wouldn't surprise me either.
I don't know if Sayin has the numbers to do it. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. Julian Sayin's had a great year. Don't get me. I'm not taking nothing away from it.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, even in college, the fact that there's a quarterback that completes 80% of his passes. But the reasoning I do not have Julian Sayin there is because his one weapon is in the Heisman talk still. If Jeremiah Smith has big games the next couple of weeks, he's going to be there. Not to mention, Julian Sayin, the reason that the other two quarterbacks to me are way ahead of him, Mendoza, undefeated, like Dustin said, he had his Heisman moment on Saturday against Penn State, who, by the way, still have a lot of NFL talent on that defense. So I don't want to hear about Penn State not having a good defense. It's just the idiot coaching them is not good. So, what's up, Dalton?
What's up, Dalton?
Dalton, we're wrapping up for the night. I want everybody who is watching to hang around for a sec. We have an announcement coming. But the other reason I have Ty Simpson over Julian Sayin, Ty Simpson had one of the most ridiculous stretches. They beat 4 or 5 straight ranked opponents.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Like that alone does it for me. But
I like Mendoza right now. But that can all change depending on how the last 2 weeks go. But right now I do like Mendoza just because he came from California. He was the top ranked transfer. But being that he came from California, not a lot of people got to see him play. Unless you were out on the West Coast. And I don't think people actually realized how good of a quarterback he was. Just because his numbers weren't great with California, because California wasn't that great of a team.
Yeah. But yeah, like I said, Sayin, good year, solid numbers. I think some people will penalize him because you got Carnell Tate on one side, Jeremiah Smith on the other. You have the best defense in the country. Guys get penalized for having too much around them. Go ask Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
So, before we go, though, I wanted to bring this up at the beginning of the show, but it kind of slipped my mind until I turned on Monday Night Football.
What about Jeremiah Love for Heisman?
Jeremiah Love's the biggest reason why Notre Dame is a playoff team currently.
Jeremiah Love is the other one that I'm putting in the Heisman talk too. That if it doesn't go to Mendoza, I wouldn't be surprised if Jeremiah Love gets it.
Well, I said that to Tyler in the beginning of the year. There's only 2 positions that are not quarterbacks that are going to win this season, the Heisman this season. It's either going to be Jeremiah Love or it's going to be Jeremiah Smith.
Mm-hmm.
They were the only 2 that I could think of that were going to do it.
Concepcion?
Fair. But before we get out of here, guys, I want to bring this up in the beginning of the show, and like I said, it slipped my mind, but I want to bring it up now. Want to give all of our thoughts and all of our prayers to Marshawn Nealon and his family.
Brooklyn teeth.
Marshawn Nealon, of course, we all know. We saw the report on Thursday. We don't need to bring up the details. We don't need to go through it once again. But all we are going to leave I want to leave everybody with here is if you know somebody that is going through something mentally and they are battling mental health issues, please reach out. Check on the people that you love and care about. And if you are somebody that battles it, I, for one, am not afraid to come on my own show and say that I do battle depression. If you need help, ask for it. Somebody is always there for you. You are not alone. And it is a great tragedy that happened to Marshawn last week, and we are thinking and praying for him and his family during these utmost difficult times. And to not leave on a somber note, we do have an announcement. We don't got to say nothing. It's going to be the announcement is coming with our outro. So, guys, thank you all for joining us tonight. I know Monday Night Football kind of got wrapped up in all this tonight, but we talked a lot of NFL, a lot of college football playoff, gave some live reactions. Right now, I'm going to punch Jalen Hurts because if he keeps targeting Jahan Dotson, I swear to God, I'm going to lose my freaking mind. I have no idea why we continue to run out routes for Jahan Dotson. I still can't understand it.
3rd and 2. Run the football.
Tush push. The Packers tried to ban the tush push run it 20 straight times. Rub it in the damn face.
Yeah, you could have. And then Braden Mann just whiffs the punt. So it's going good so far in Green Bay.
But, guys, we did tell you there was an announcement coming. Big news coming right now. But you will talk if you want to talk to us about it, you can talk to us about it next week because it's in our outro. We're going to get up on out of here. Thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight. And we will see you guys next week. For Dustin Reese, our good guest, Tyler Adams, I'm Sam Nelson. Good night, everybody. Enjoy the announcement.